The essence of basketball. I don't know if you can be a basketball player without experience.
We are back for a new season, everybody. My name is Bobbito Garcia. To the west,
Eric Newman, Coach E New. We are back for B-Ball Radio. Wait, Bob, hold on, Bob. It's bright out here. It's bright out here. It's bright out here, Bob. It's still bright out here. What's good, brother?
Yo, and we have none other than CP, the franchise from Knicks Fan TV. We also have another guest, a surprise one, and we waiting for him to join in all the way from Mexico. But CP, what's good, my brother?
Hey, good to be on with you guys, man, on B-Ball Radio, man. Been a big fan of you, Bob, and me and Eric have been building over the years, so it's only right to connect on a pod, man.
Yo, do you charge Eric rent when he comes on as a guest on
Not yet, but I should start charging him friendship fees, man. I should start charging him.
How was that steak that he bought you?
Here's to you, CP. Here's to you. Here's to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, Eric is a stand-up guy and a gentleman. He lost a bet fair and square last year. He bet on the Celtics as he should, as a Celtics fan. He was riding high, but Knicks went into Boston down 20 points in games 1 and 2 and took the game. And so he had to deliver on his promise. We went to Keen's Steakhouse. They might not sponsor the show. I don't really like to promote restaurants that don't sponsor, but it's a great steakhouse in New York. One of the oldest steakhouses in New York, like Babe Ruth used to eat there. So I had to go in there and get the Babe steak, you know what I mean? And get it sliced up proper. I don't remember if we got the béarnaise or not, but the fries were good, steak was good. So it's a nice pregame meal for game, was it 3 or 4?
Eric, it was game 4. It led to Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles tendon. It was a great time for everybody. That's great. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Eric was good. I missed you. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's great to have another episode and another season back with B-Ball Radio. We got so much in store for y'all this coming up spring, summer. We're going to be rocking, talking about the playground. We're going to talk about the pros and everything in between. History, future, present. What's good, Eric?
I am thrilled to be back. We are heading into spring, summer. It's been a while. It's great to be back in front of the camera, in front of the mic, locked in storytelling mode, loving the game. Have had some real great moments just around March Madness and catching up with people. And, Bob, so great to catch up with you earlier this week. And CP, of course, we did a hit recently. That was awesome. And it's great, man. We're all driven by the passion for the game. We're all driven by the stories that come with it. And I'm thrilled to be back.
I read your Substack. I want to hear from the horse's mouth about the moment that the buzzer beater from the UConn, but it wasn't from half court, but it was like a step in. It was basically my range, like I felt like I could have shot that.
Limitless range from Bob Garcia. I had been, and thank you for bringing it up, and everything basketball is my Substack, and it was always meant to be kind of a compliment to what we started to do, where it's telling stories from the journey, it's sharing experiences, and then it's tying those things into what we're seeing in real time, whether it's college hoops, pro hoops, things on the playground, things we see on social media, stories that I've been able to tell through the lens. So, I was writing all these March Madness memories. I was down at the first round games in San Diego because LIU was down there with Coach Strickland. St. John's was down there. Rod Strickland.
You know what we talking about?
Absolutely, yeah.
And New York was representing out here in San Diego. So made the quick drive down. You should have seen my seat. I was 3 rows off the court. I had a press pass.
Way to throw it in our face. It's cool.
Yeah. Flex. How else was I going to go there? But in all seriousness, I was it was San Diego State, so it was this very small college field gym, one level, the whole crowd on top of the court, and it was just this magical basketball venue with all this energy.
Wait, time out. CP, what's the greatest player in San Diego State history?
Kawhi Leonard.
Are you going to go with that too? Are you going to go with that?
No.
Eric?
My favorite baseball player of all time, the late great Tony Gwynn, is the best player in San Diego State
Wow.
history.
I'm gonna go with Michael Cage, lefty, played in the NBA for a few seasons. All right. His haircut was not the greatest, but he was a monster under the boards. Okay, Eric, back to you. Sorry.
His haircut was stellar in 1985. Michael Cage, man. Stellar. Deion Sanders said this on his All the Smoke episode about the Jerry curl. He said it looked wet, but it was really dry. Michael Cage fit that perfectly.
CP, you got a Jerry curl photo from the 90s somewhere tucked away?
Not. I had the flat top. I had the Larry Johnson UNLV with the part up the middle, the Starberry Georgia Tech. It's the season with the part up the middle. I had the flat top, but never the curl, man. I was a little past my time.
No doubt.
So let me finish this real quick. So I'm courtside. I'm inspired. I got all these ideas going. I'm flashing back to going to the NCAA tournament as a kid and seeing Rod out there coaching. I asked Rod a question at his press conference, which has gotten a little traction on IG, and just a hilarious moment. And I was preparing these things, and the UConn game was on at the gym. I was just trying to get my workout in last Sunday, and I couldn't walk away from the game because they just kept hanging around and hanging around and hanging around. And knowing, who Danny Hurley is, knowing how he coaches his team. Shout out to Kamani Young, NYC native, top assistant coach with him there.
Okay.
And they stayed in the game, and Duke unfortunately started to play not to lose the game, and then that moment happened. I was just sitting on a
Why you say
bench.
Unfortunately? You're a Duke fan too?
No, I see the
CP. What's good with your man, yo? You gotta talk to him.
I see most definitely rooting for UConn. I see the emotion in it all. I see it from both sides, and Duke didn't need to move the basketball, is the point I'm trying to make. And they were so sped up, they were so nervous, and that's because UConn kept fighting, kept putting the pressure on them. And as we've all learned through our own life experiences with the game, play hard, play the right way, play together. Crazy and beautiful things happen, and that happened for UConn. So that really inspired me. And, Bob, to the core of your question, we've all had these different journeys and things happening in life, and my creativity had just gotten stunted with so much going on. I've talked to both of you a little bit about this, and it's just like these wavelengths have opened up again. Writing, recording, putting things together, and great to be able to put that out there. I've gotten some really nice notes on it, and great to be back on here with you guys. Feels great.
The buzzer beater wiped the cobwebs off the underarm. CP, how much attention do you spend with the NCAA as it relates to the Knicks? Like, are you trying to scout out potential players that might future play for the Knicks or play against the Knicks? Like, is that any concern of yours, or are you just strictly like when they get to the pros, that's when it's Knicks Fans TV radar?
No, we start, as you said, at the lead up to the tournament. So we'll do a show, some prospects that could be on the Knicks radar this upcoming draft. They will have 3 picks. We're not sure if they're going to trade some, because based on, where they are financially, they may not be able to keep some. But no, we start prior to the tournament, and then we run up after the season. We'll do our draft series and start talking about these prospects, how they did in the tournament leading up to the draft, who stock improved, who stock dropped. But, definitely when the tournament starts, I'm locked in. As Eric said, we had Rod Strickland on the show once LIU clinched their bid, and that was a dream come true, bucket list moment for me to have him on the show. And then I'm supporting all the local teams, St. John's, Hofstra being right in my backyard. And then, I'm looking I look for the Cinderella upsets. That's why I'm always watching the tournament, because you get those. And like Eric said, man, it's a thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. That's why I rock with the tournament. I don't have time to watch the whole college season leading up. Like, I didn't get to watch a lot of AJ and Darren Peterson and the Boozer twins throughout the season. But when the tournament starts, I'm locked in. So it's a great time.
No doubt. Roman, what's up? Are you there? We have a potential guest all the way from Cancun, Mexico, by way of La República Dominicana, but he's redirecting. Okay, we're gonna get back to Roman.
I think he's still dealing with the dial-up. Hey, real quick, Bob. Real quick. speaking of what CP does throughout the season, you know why he doesn't have time for college ball? Because this man has crossed 100,000 subscribers on Knicks Fan TV. Let's give it up for him.
Let's go.
Let's give it up for him.
I can't find my plaque. It's around here somewhere. But yeah, man, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Aspirational. I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. I love it. I was a guest, Eric, a one-time guest on CP the franchise, and he asked me about NBA Street, the video game, and like the reach went bonkers, B, like
crazy.
That was like my most viewed post. I mean, it wasn't mine; it was yours. But, you collaborated.
Yeah, we collab on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my most viewed post for that month. Like it was just bonkeronis, man, and it's like people are so hungry. And now we're gonna talk about this a little bit later in this season about NBA The Run. It's an upcoming video game that I'm the announcer for. I'm also consulting the development team on marketing and everything. And I would love CP to return to Knicks Fan TV when the game is out.
Sure.
And talk about the behind the scenes and all that. But that's forward. That's just a little teaser. I'm not divulging anything that's violating my NDA because the game is out. The trailer's out. We've been teasing it. And, it's forthcoming. So I'm not a gamer myself, but I know that you had some fond memories of playing NBA Street when we was talking and stuff. So that's cool, man. Definitely cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as that game relates to just my upbringing, my culture, basketball culture, that game, that was the holy grail, man. So I knew when we had that conversation, putting that out, I knew it was going to explode because there were so many people like me as a kid. Yeah. Every day after school, y'all going at it on streets. Every day during the summer, all day, all night, just going through it. I mean, the gameplay, the commentary by you, different players, the generations past and present. It was an incredible game, man. A classic, all-time classic.
No doubt. Appreciate that. Eric, are we gonna be able to add Roman or what? He's now
taking
on the beach.
He's trying.
He's taking it to the streets.
He's trying. Well, Bob, I think it's a good segue, and hopefully Roman can chime in once he gets signal. But we've all been navigating in our own ways, and Bob, you're a mad scientist with this, and CP, obviously, you figured it out in a great way. I'm starting to figure it out more on my own compared to when I was producing and directing, under the Showtime umbrella. But these platforms, these tools, sharing these stories, whether it's YouTube, whether it's IG, Bob, you've been so consistent across LinkedIn as well. What is that?
I've been trying, bro.
What is that continued though? Threads. What does that continued to teach you about the power of your voice, the power of storytelling across the game, and just how passionate you continue to be around this stuff?
You talking me or the CP?
Both of you guys, because you're both doing it in your own ways.
CP, every episode, come with the deep spiritual question.
This is not surface level programming.
What was the moment that you realized that you were gonna be great?
When did you know the game was life?
I love it, yo. I mean, for me, I'm thankful. I've been laying low for the last 6 years, not being in person. Doing everything from the crib because of family responsibilities and ongoing pandemic and other, related issues. So I got to be real cautious in how I move. So I'm grateful for my platforms. Last 30 days, I've reached over 2.3 million views, and probably like 350,000 accounts from my crib. That's not light. That's better numbers than listen, when I did ESPN, it's the shoes. We used to average like 350,000 viewers, When I did MSG Summer Ball, about 300,000. When I was doing Stretch and Bobbito Radio, WKCR, probably about 250,000 listeners. I'm doing better than that right now, and for free. I spend money, on equipment and stuff. So I'm grateful for technology. And I'm grateful for what is presented, the opportunity for me to, express myself to, a global audience, although when I look at my insights, most of my followers are in New York. You know, and they mostly dudes, yo. It's a crazy sausage fest. But yo, we got Roman. Can we hear you talk, bro? You look like you're sitting on a toilet, bro.
His horizontal is vertical. His vertical is horizontal,
yeah.
and we can't
He's
hear him.
muted. Roman, we'd
Yeah.
love to hear from you. What's good, B?
You can hear me? That's free.
No,
All right, Roman, we're going to try this another day, man. Love you.
love you, Roman.
Disconnect, because this is, you can stay in and just listen if you want, but this is just has not worked, yo. You sitting in the baño in Mexico, sin conexión. Yo.
Bob tried to add a fourth to a three-man weave. CP, excuse me.
Yeah.
I just called him CP3. CP, how about for you? Just, obviously you've reached this milestone. You're not doing it for the milestone. You're doing it because you love it. You're doing it because this community really needed what you provide. What's it been like for you learning the tools, building the audience, and how that's continued for you?
Yeah, for me, it's incredible, and considering media broadcasting, I didn't go to school for that. That wasn't really my primary vocation, and so
Me neither.
right
there with you.
Yeah, so to continue learning in that realm, it's incredible, and it just shows you that storytelling and the interest in storytelling. I mean, it's from the beginning of time. Right before we had TVs, before we had electronics, the people in the caves were telling stories on the wall. The Egyptians were telling stories through hieroglyphics on the pyramids. And so storytelling has always been probably the number one art form of humanity. You know what I mean? And so now we're doing it through these platforms, and I'm trying to learn the nuances of each platform to put those stories out there. Like the example with Bobbito, telling that story from his experience in making NBA Street, and how many people related to that. And, one of the things that carried us was when the pandemic hit in the NBA, and all of a sudden, NBA shut down, and it almost derailed my dream in building the platform, because I'm like, damn, my platform was built on talking about games every day. So now what the hell are we going to do when it's elite coming back? But instantly I pivoted to calling players, and just through the relationships that we had started building and everybody being home, it's just one play after another. Charles Oakley, Rasheed Wallace, Xavier McDaniel. And what the fans loved about that content was the stories. And those stories would start getting picked up by national platforms. That really boosted us during that dead period of the NBA. It was the player storytelling, because the fans from those, 90s era could relate. And it brought back that nostalgia. It brought back those fond memories, when the Knicks were getting closer to the pinnacle. So storytelling is really kind of been like the backbone behind our community and the content.
All right. So regarding storytelling, I have a question for the three of you and for myself. Roman, you're going to go first. Can we hear you? Can we get a test, Mike? 1, 2?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
We got him.
Oh, man.
We got him.
Mi hermano Roman in Mexico. Todo bien.
Everything is good, man. Representing. You already know.
All right. So Roman, I want each of us to take a turn. Since CP set the stage, we're talking about older Knicks. Joakim Noah. I saw an interview with him recently by your boy that works at the program. Brent. What's his name? Brent?
Yeah.
Great interview. So Joakim's been on my mind. So I want each of us to share either a favorite or a memorable moment with Joakim Noah. Roman, you go first.
So one of my most memorable moments is one of my boys calls me, and we're in our local park, at McCarrion Park in Winnisburg. And he's like, yo, your boy's out here with Joakim Noah. He's playing one-on-one. I'm like, no way. Like, I couldn't believe that Bobbito was playing against Joakim Noah. And they was playing at a park where, I grew up. I used to walk like 20 blocks to that park away from my neighborhood, because everybody about that neighborhood was like, it was a Polish community. So, I got away from my Spanish people, and I used to go to that park. So that park became my favorite. And then when Bob was there, I'm like, man, Bob discovered my park. So it was cool. But also, Bob, I don't know if you remember, we played against Joakim Noah in Watson, in the Watson tournament in 2009. Joakim Noah was in the crowd, and they asked him to play, and we got to play against him. So those are some NYC clutch memorable moments about, Joakim.
I love it. I love it. Now I'm gonna jump on that, but I want to hear from Eric and CP, and then I'll tell you my side of that McCarran Park Joakim Noah moment. CP, you go next.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't the greatest memory because when he signed with the Knicks, and this is during the reign of Phil Jackson that almost brought this franchise to oblivion. He did sign Joakim Noah. We thought we had the center that would run the triangle very well and get Melo the championship he needed. Didn't work out all that well, so it ended up being probably one of the top 5 worst contracts that the Knicks were signed. But in other memories, remember when he got Florida to the dance and winning the championship in those Florida Gator runs, and being a local product, just kind of being proud of him, watching him succeed with Tibbs and the Bulls, and the grit and grind that he brought. That's what we wanted to see here in New York. Just didn't work out that well.
All right, Eric, Joakim Noah memory, favorite or just memorable?
Yeah, a few quick things. Joakim played at Poly Prep. I coached at Fieldston. Didn't overlap, but had heard so many stories about him. Obviously, love those Florida teams. My story's pretty cool, man. When Joakim was on the Bulls and they played the Celtics, Bob, you know where I'm going here. The joke is back. That's the year KG's hurt. So KG's talking trash from the bench. Joakim grows up idolizing KG. KG saying all kinds of things to him. If you remember, Joakim at that press conference said, yeah, I don't understand why he's so mean. So this thing between Joakim and KG lingered for years. And then a couple of years ago, Joakim comes by KG certified and they do a sit down together. And it was all love and a great conversation and like a full circle thing. And Joakim is doing incredible community work in Chicago. And just a great energy and a great guy to be around. And it was awesome. And CP, sorry about that contract, bro. That didn't work out too well.
All right, so let's put a pin on KG because Roman has a phenomenal KG. I'm sorry, Roman, you had so many connection problems. We didn't properly introduce you. You're a dear friend of 20 years, right? And my collaborator with FC21 Worldwide. You're doing it in Dominican Republic. You're doing it in Puerto Rico. You're doing it in Cancun on Wednesday, April 8th, and you're my court organizer in all the NYC locations this summer for years. So shout out to you for what you do with Dudo Baez, and your daughter Leah Perez is a PSAL champion for the Murray Bertram NYC 2025 champs. So that's who Roman Perez. Anyway, so. Back to McCarran Park. I was doing CP Eric a show on ESPN called It's the Shoes. I don't remember if it was 2005 or 2006. But they're like, yo, like Joakim is,
2005.
Okay, 2005. So they're like, yo, Joakim just won a chip, with Florida. We're going to bring him to co-host the show with you. I was like, word, bet. Like, that's be incredible. Like, he's from New York. My man, George Stork, used to coach Joakim when he was at playing youth basketball at the 92nd Street Y. And George told me that he used to bust Joakim's ass, right? All the time and talk mad smack to him. And then he went to Poly Prep. And then he got to Florida and he came back one day with gaiters, hoodie, sweatpants, went to the ball rack, palmed the ball, and stuck it in George's chest. I said, yeah, play me one-on-one now. So they, so he comes to set and we go to McCarran Park in Williamsburg, which I used to coach at Puente High School right down the block for in 96, 97. A lot of people don't know about that. We only won one game the entire season, right? But, I got a lot of love for Williamsburg, Los Urdes and all that. So we in McCarran and we playing one-on-one and I'm hearing two kids on the bench rooting for me. And Joakim is, he's playing paddleball with my jump shot. Look up, you know what I'm saying? Slap boxing with my he's 7 feet and agile, you know what I'm saying? And I felt good about my game in 2005. I was like just shy of 40, you know what I'm saying? But he punched it, he really doing Muhammad Ali on me, da. But then I hear these two kids, you know, I turn around and I'm seeing like they know who I am. They rooting for me. I'm like, yo, word. So I put the little whip wop on Joakim. Step back. Bah. He went for it like 3 feet in the wrong direction. I stepped back and bang, hit my jump shot. I said, all I need, you know, because y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. You know what I'm saying? When a game gets cut up for and one or whatever it is, you know, these kids with mixtapes, they might shoot like 0 for 30, but they just need that one highlight. And I was like, word, I scored on Joakim Noah. I'm good, you know? So after the game, I meet Roman Perez. The beauty of basketball, how it connects us, right? And I wound up playing against them in Rodney Park. You want to share that story, the second part of that story?
Yeah, for sure. 2005, same summer. I seen Bobbito like on TV, like in Sábado Gigante. It was like a Spanish worldwide like phenomenal show, like in Univision.
Don Francisco, that was the #1 show in Latin America for years.
Yeah. So my mom and my mom is like, yo, Roman, come and see these guys. They're on TV. Like it was Blackjack, Ramon Rodriguez, I believe it was Kenny Rodriguez, and then doing tricks. And I'm like, wow, this is different. Like I'm used to watching the NBA. I see some guys spinning the ball. Like, what is this, you know? But I remember Bobbito, I remember the guys, and I'm literally practicing at a park, Blue Park. It's like 2 blocks away from a tournament called Rodney Park. And I see this guy just dribbling up from the train station, just on the street with the colored ball. And I'm like, wait, that's the guy I saw on Univision, like recently, like, you know? And something just said, just go to the park. And at that time, I had not played unlimited basketball at the tournament. But the commissioner came up to me, Bio, and he says, yo, the team they need a player. Like, you want to play, they need a point guard. And it comes to know it's against Bobbito Garcia.
Wow.
And it's the whole park was like, yo, Roman is playing unlimited. I was like 19 years old, 18. And I scored 16 points. Bobbito had like 22 points. He hit mad threes that game. Never forget it.
I
played with Coach D. 25?
Get it right. I had 25.
I know you scored a lot.
He's got the box score on the wall off camera.
It's right here, actually, behind this record.
But nah, it was a great experience for me, you know, playing against Bob. You play with Coach Derek Adams. You had
D. Adams. Yep.
BG on your team from LES. You guys had a squad. And man, that was my vivid memory meeting Bobbito. And ever since then, 14th Street Y. And then, yeah, man, it's been a blessing since.
Yeah, and I love you, B. You're one of my dearest friends in the world, not just basketball collaborator. Like, I sincerely love you, your 2 daughters. Happy birthday to your daughter, Lucia.
Yes. Happy birthday to Lucia.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love her too, even though I haven't gotten to know her. But your daughter, Leah Perez, a.k.a. Threa, a.k.a. The Last Jedi. Yo, she's right, yo. She got a proper game. Now, let's go to the topic of Kevin Garnett. We haven't heard from CP in a minute. CP and Eric, I know you could talk for an hour about KG, but we're just going to go with one moment. Okay, one moment. CP, you go first. One moment. Your favorite moment or most memorable with Kevin Garnett?
You know what? I'm not a Celtics fan. Never have been. Never supported them. But as a big ticket fan coming up, finally seen them raise that championship. I was happy to see that, man. It was well deserved. You know, he put his heart and soul into his career with Minnesota, but you know, seeing him get that championship in Boston, I was happy for him. Not the Celtics, not Paul Pierce. No. I was happy for Kevin Garnett. Anything is possible. But one more favorite memory was the and one commercial with Styles P. That was one of my favorite basketball commercials. The Kevin Garnett's.
Explain it for our younger audience who may not have ever seen it.
I mean, it was just in the era where, you know, when sneaker culture and, you know, the confluence of hip hop and basketball, like, really started to take off. Like, obviously in the 70s, the 80s with Public Enemy, all that influence was there. But, you know, the marketing, the engine behind it really started picking up in the 90s. And you know, Styles P was one of my favorite artists from the Locks. And so that commercial with KG, that just, because it was something that you would see on TV. You rarely see them on TV like that. Word. So that was just one of my favorites for sure.
That's dope. Yeah, and you know, in this modern era, like we see rap artists like they're effervescent, you know, or omnipresent, not effervescent, omnipresent. Eric, if you could contain this, you know, I know you can talk for an hour about your love for KG. He's a man. He's on speed dial. You know, he probably texted you before we started. You know, but A memorable moment.
Man, I've been so blessed. Let's just go with
unrelated to the Celtics. How about that?
First
CT, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
We got Knicks Fan TV on here. Nothing about the Celtics.
I was already going that way. I think there's so many, which obviously I've been blessed. I think it was day one of making the film, like knowing we were doing this, knowing that there was so much trust there and so much attention towards telling this great story. And I have the video on my phone. He walks in from off stage to sit in that chair, and he walks in and he takes a deep breath like he's about to go out for warm-ups. And it meant that much to him, and he was that focused on it. And I had pregame jitters, obviously, because this was such a big deal for me personally and professionally. And then, I have Dan Levin there with me. I have Justin Francis there with me. I have the great Mark Levin there with me, and the rest of the crew. And KG just sits down in that chair. I'm in the chair right next to the lens. We lock in. And Bob, when I tell you this, within 3 minutes, there was no one else in the room as far as how I was feeling and what I was doing. It was just two people having this incredible basketball storytelling conversation. And I will never forget it. And like 15 minutes in, I had this moment with myself. I'm like, how lucky am I that I'm doing this right now? And
Dope.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Dope. I interviewed Kevin Garnett. I didn't have a magical moment like that where I was so locked in, but I did get to interview him when I had my Vibe magazine column back in the 90s, which, we had 4 million subscribers worldwide. It was licensed to Japan. It was licensed to South Africa. So that having KG, I don't think he fit in the frame of the photo. So we had to the photographer had to zoom back, but I had a good time playing him some music, and he was a super cool cat. But my story pales in comparison to yours, Eric, but also I think Roman's gonna I don't like to use this word, so I'm not gonna say the just Roman, just go for it. Just go for it. What's your KG? You have 2 memories with KG, and it's so special.
Yeah.
Listening to your conversation.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, bro. Oh, for real? We'll talk in a bit. Yeah.
Signing autographs over there,
somebody
Bob.
knows you.
Oh, word? Dope.
Oh, yeah?
Dope.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna meet him. That's crazy. He said, I know exactly who you're talking to. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, dope.
So first of all, my story is, I just use this word, this sentence. I don't want to get emotional, but it's life changing for me. The moment that it just it's unreal for me because, being a kid. First of all, Eric and Bobbito, I want to thank you because, when I went to the premiere, I didn't know it was gonna be so exclusive. Everybody's wearing suits. I was the only one wearing a Kevin Garnett jersey. Everybody's wearing suits, but it's okay, and I got to sit in the front. And then right when they was anybody has any questions, I was gonna raise my hand and just thank him a quick 5 seconds, whatever. But then they was yo, we gotta go. So he left. But thank you, I really appreciate it. But growing up, Bobbito knows, growing up in Williamsburg, where you have a community where everybody plays baseball. My dad was a mechanic. My mom, she was a stay-at-home mom. So basketball wasn't really a thing. But you had the kids in the local parks that would love the game, and I would see the love that they had. But because, gangs and stuff like that in the neighborhood at the time, it was growing very fast. My parents didn't let me go out to the parks, to go practice. So because of that, I was a home kid. My brother played with a sock and a vase. We love basketball. We collect basketball cards. And so I identify myself with Kevin Garnett because, KG coming to the NBA at a young age, people criticize him. He's too skinny. He's not going to make it coming out of high school. But he was tough. He was always that angry, I'm going to throw it onto you, that attitude. I was man, I want to be like that, I want to identify myself as someone that's they're going to respect, you know what I mean? But it didn't turn out good for me. I was always rocking the KG jerseys, the Timberwolves wristband. Whenever a sneaker came out, my parents didn't afford it like that, but I was Mom, please buy me the Kevin Garnetts. And I thought it would be something cool. But in reality, it became to kids bullying me, from 5th grade all the way to my senior year in high school. bro, why you trying to be like Kevin Garnett? Like, I'm like, I'm not trying to be like him. I'm just trying to identify myself for like the character that he is. And, you know, I got cut from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade. I didn't play middle school, elementary. I got cut every single year. And I would write letters to Kevin Garnett, like, you know, the fan club. Like, hey, man, like just telling him my life story. Like, yo, I got cut again. The kids keep bullying me. But I will get a return, like, you know, welcome to the Kevin Garnett fan club, whatever. And my senior year, I trained so hard that summer to make my high school. By the way, I was at Murray Bertram, where my daughter is like, you know, the lead scorer at the team now. She plays for Murray Bertram as well. But that summer, I wrote a letter to KG saying, yo, like, if I don't make this team, I'm going to give up from playing basketball. Like, I'm done. Like, here I am writing a letter to someone that probably doesn't even read my letters. Like, it was like I would call it like basketball death. Like, I was going to just give up in basketball and just do something else. And December 27, man, so 2001, the mailman comes in, knocks the door, and a box. We got a box, and I'm like, my mom's like, oh, you ordered something? I used to order like mad stuff to improve your game on the Slam magazine in the back. They used to have like even a growth toner bottle. Remember the growth toner bottle? I bought like 20 of those bottles. It never worked.
Dunk jumpers. Yeah.
My dad would buy me like the bottles, $39.95, the growth toner. It didn't work, but you know. It was And then I checked the box, Minnesota. I'm like, another Kevin Garnett fan club. I opened the box. It's a basketball, Minnesota Timberwolves ball. Threw it on the bed. I'm like, another book, a Christmas gift. And there's a card on the side. I'm like, this card is signed. And it was like, Merry Xmas, KG. Turn it around, his authentic card. I'm like looking in, my brother's using the bathroom, open the door. He's like, bro. And I'm like, bro, Kevin Garnett. He autographed the cards. And then I threw myself on the bed. And as I threw myself on the bed and I looked to the side, I noticed that the ball signed, man. My bad. The ball signed, and it's like, it says, to Roman, thanks. Enjoy the game.
Wow.
Kevin Garnett. But the word enjoy the game. Like, here I am trying to prove myself. Man, KG himself said, enjoy the game. And ever since that moment to the rest till now, to where I'm at right now, I enjoy the game, man. I love the game so much because of what Kevin Garnett said on the basketball. Like, you know, and that's my life forever, you know? And then, you know, recently I was in the NBA store as a model. That was crazy because a photographer was in West 4th years ago, and then years later he's working for the NBA. He says, hey man, I want to give back. I remember when you shouted me out on Instagram, you want to model for the NBA? And I'm like, yo, why not? And Things of the World, I got to model a Kevin Garnett jersey. Like, it was just,
yo, look at that, yo.
And then I shared it on Instagram as a post literally last year, and Kevin Garnett reposted it, and he's like, yo, thanks for being my day one. He messaged me on the Instagram, and I'm like, I'm like, bro, thank you for even replying, reposting, like, appreciate you. And I'm on the train crying. Everybody's like, my lady came up to me, are you okay? And I'm like, it's just, you know, yeah, Kevin Garnett, man, those are my two stories. And he just really, I never met him, but he changed my life in a way that I could never like thank anyone. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I always thank you, Bob, for what you done in my journey.
Yeah,
but like, just hearing those words from him, here I am with like thousands of Kevin Garnett cards, and you know, just my idol. You know what I'm saying? And then he wrote back to me, acknowledged me. That just changed my life forever.
Yo, honestly, I've known this story to some extent, but I never known it to this extent. And this actually, okay, so I'm gonna revamp. Forget the Vibe magazine interview. My favorite Kevin Garnett moment is Eric Newman directs a film which he didn't even mention in his moment, called Anything Is Possible for Showtime Sports, and it's the premiere. And Eric is like, yo, you know, come through. I got a ticket for you for the premiere. And I'm like, dang, you know, like I said, I've been laying low. You know, I got family responsibilities, you know, caregiving and all this other stuff. So I'm like, yo, I can't go. But you know what, Eric, if you can, I know you got light amount of tickets. If you can, yo, just give it to my little brother, Roman, because, yo, I don't know anybody that loves Kevin Garnett the way Roman does. And yo, Roman, I said, and Eric, by the kindness of your soul, you said, yeah, I got Roman. I love him too. Because, you know, we used to play ball together at the open runs. And Roman went, and then you sent me a photo, Roman, from the premiere. I think Kevin was like sitting 3 rows behind you, if I remember correctly, or something like that.
Kevin was in the front. I was in the first row.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
But you
and
had
then
the jersey
outside when
on.
he came out of the cab, some photographer took a picture of like him coming out the cab, and they snapped a picture like me with the KZ jersey, and I'm eating popcorn outside.
No, I'm Roman. I'm most definitely got emotional. Roman, thank you for sharing all that. I knew obviously how much you were a KG fan. I knew there was a backstory. Obviously, the moment of seeing you at the screening and how happy and excited you were, and it is awesome you wore a KG jersey to the screening. I had to, of course, wear a suit, but you did it. You did it right, and to just hear the depth and the meaning of that is really special, and that's what KG identifies with, and that's what helped me build that trust and connection and bridge to him, because he knew how much storytelling and the game means. And Bob jokes that I have stories for days, and I do, and I'm really fortunate. And as crazy as this industry is, and this whole athlete content space, and as imperfect as things can be sometimes, and things that are completely out of our control, I was just on set again on Wednesday for a weekly taping, and get to spend time with them and talk, and obviously entertaining is an understatement in terms of who he is and how he approaches the space. And to know that I got to direct and produce his life story for the big screen is, I have to catch myself sometimes. And obviously I keep the movie sign there over my shoulder wherever
Anything
I set
is
up
possible.
as a reminder. But man, Roman, I remember that night so clearly, and I remember how excited you were. And that's the beauty of this community. Like for me, it was like we're premiering the KG doc at the IFC Theater with West 4th across the street. Like everybody, people that don't know me well, they assume that, I either because of Boston and the Celtics, and I'm like, everything about my upbringing through the game, aside from being a Celtics fan, is tied to New York and the community around the game.
B-Ball Radio.
Bob, we got to throw you and Roman your flowers for everything you guys are doing for FC21.
Thank you.
It's going to be bigger this summer than ever before. You took this one concept that was obviously invented in the parks as something that was just true to whatever park it was in, and you turned it into a global phenomenon. And I'll never forget when we were doing Sneaker Center together for ESPN, we incorporated FC21 into the episode, and
no doubt
our guy Jesse Washington took the court over, and it was really, really special, and he was guest one on B-Ball Radio, which we'll always remember. But please share like the summer ahead. Roman right now, by the way, is our first B-Ball Radio international correspondent, so literally history is being made right now on the show and with FC21. So what does the basketball world have to look forward to for FC21 this summer?
Before I throw it to Roman, let me share that FC21 is the world's only 1v5 basketball tournament. It's the game's first ever, organized presentation of the game that we love so much. CP, did you play 21 growing up? Or did y'all play Utah?
Of course. Both. Growing up in Brooklyn, it was Utah. Coming to Long Island, it was 21.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So in 2013, I started the tournament in New York. 2015, it went global. We were doing Canada and Ghana and London and Japan. And ever since, I've been doing it every summer. We took 3 years off during the ongoing pandemic, 2020, 2021, 2022. 2023, we came back with the splash. And we're doing 30 international locations. This summer, I think we were doing 30 plus. Because, Roman, you're right now in Cancun, Mexico. You're going to bring it to La República Dominicana también y Puerto Rico, all within the next 2 months. You want to tell us what you're doing in Mexico?
So right now I'm at an event called the Royal Passover. They celebrate Passover, so all the families from like United States and around the world. While the parents are like, hanging out, doing their thing during the day, they have instructors like volleyball coaches, basketball coaches, working with their kids. So while I'm out here, I played in Mexico years ago, like professionally in some tours. I made some connections and, just contacting people last year, like, yo, any basketball in Cancun? I met somebody, my boy Chon Chong, and then I hit him up. I said, yo, let's do Full Court 21. I explained to him, he's like, yo, let's do it. So we're going to have like a pro match on next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. But before the pro match, we're going to do Full Court 21. Same thing that we're going to do in Dominican Republic in about 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to have a pro match, but, bring the crowd and then do Full Court 21 before the pro match. And same thing next month in Puerto Rico, which will be a little different, which is going to be like a community event where we're going to do in Santurce. And yeah, man, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited to help Bobbito and continue to grow Full Court 21. Indeed, it has helped me as a street ball player. I still play like in the Rutgers, the West Fourths, and just adding Full Court 21 every summer to my bucket list, for me, indeed, is a blessing. Like, it helps me as a basketball player, and just, man, I love it. Bobbito.
So, yeah, no, I appreciate your effort, man, to bring the tournament, worldwide, and we'll continue to expand that. But Eric and CP, the beauty of the game is that, playing with no teams and no teammates, right, and no coach and no subs, right, it's really up to you how to figure out how to score, how to navigate through 5 to 6 defenders on every possession, right? And I saw a clip, CP and Eric, recently where it was Gilbert Arenas' son was playing full court 1v5, and it was so nice to see. I mean, I don't know if he saw it. Gilbert knows who I am. He actually purchased and used my Basics to Boogie dribbling instructional video 23 years ago. He shared that with me when I met him on the Ball Up tour. So I don't know if he knows what I'm doing with the tournament or if he just thought like 1v5 would be kind of cool, but it was so dope to see his son cooking 5 defenders playing full court. And Roman, you want to share how it helped your daughter, Leah Perez, who's incoming, she'll be a senior next year, and Murray Bertram.
For sure. Leah's a 3-point shooter. She's known in the city for her 3-point specialty. Because of a 3-point specialty, she's going to get boxed in one. She's going to get double team. But because of Full Court 21, it has allowed her to like expand her game. And remember, like, I'm the assistant coach at her school. So sometimes I'll be like, Leah, FC21. And she looked at me and she goes like,
cool word.
Like, because you can tell like when at the start of the game that they're going to like double team her or box and one her. So Full Court 21 has helped her so much, expanding her game, not only like street ball wise, but also school wise. And I encourage any parent that's watching this or any parent that's not familiar with Full Court 21 to encourage the kids to like be a part of this movement, because it's going to help their kids in the long run.
So thank you, Roman. So Eric and CP, I'm going to turn the question back at you. What player, since the two of you are experts at the NBA, what player in the NBA currently do you feel is the best? If they were to play an FC21 1v5, who would excel at it the most? There was a highlight years ago of Kobe Bryant in a game. I don't know if it's the one where he scored 81 points against the Raptors, but he was not triple teamed. He was literally quadruple teamed, didn't kick it out, and still scored, right? So who do you think would excel the illest at my tournament, FC21 1v5, if by chance I ever did a collaboration with the NBA and yeah.
CP, you first.
Go first.
Yeah, you first.
Off the top, I'm going with Ant-Man. I'm going with Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
From the explosiveness, a tough shot shooter, the physicality to be able to handle, getting by 3, 4, 5 defenders and then rise up on you. One of the most explosive players in the NBA, and the one that would want to do it. Ant-Man's going to want to do it. If they bring the 1v1, 1v5, Ant-Man will do it. I can't speak for everybody else who want to protect their brand and don't want to be embarrassed. He'll take on anybody. That's what I like about Ant-Man. He's fearless. He's relentless. And I like him being an up-and-coming face of the league.
I love it. I also loved him in the movie Hustle with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I thought he played the villain so well. And that's hard to do because not every NBA player is always the best on camera, But props to Anthony Edwards, and he's a featured player in NBA to run the video game that I'm announcing. So I've been having a lot of fun, doing the play-by-play for him in the video game, and I'm seeing like, yo, this game is bananas. But Eric, who would be if I said, Eric, I'm seeding NBA players in my FC21 1v5, who's the first player you would want to see up in there?
Well, besides Anthony Edwards, and I'm glad I threw it to CP first, and Bob, a running joke of our playground days, FC21 really takes away from my pick and pop game. But but the way Jaylen Brown has played this year, and him and Ant are really both in that multifaceted wing attack mode, really strong. Obviously, Jaylen locks up defensively as well. He plays through contact. His handle's gotten better. He's having an all NBA season. So, obviously I had to work a Celtic in there, but Jaylen Brown in FC21 would be a problem.
Yes, big problem.
You think about, and I'm so glad you framed it this way, right? You think about the attributes needed, right? You need to have some physicality. You need to have great handles. You need to have a real versatile finish package. You need to be able to pull up. So you think about Ant, you think about Jaylen, you think about Donovan Mitchell. You think about these explosive athletic guards that have these multifaceted skill sets. And those are the guys that come to mind. But yeah,
that's amazing, bro. That's amazing. I love that. And also Jaylen plays D, hard body, which when I used to play FC21 before I started laying low, I used to love to be on the court with Roman, because me and this dude play 21 to just hang out underneath the basket, wait for the rebound, and go out. But me and Roman, we'd be like, come on, let's go. And we would dart, every time that whoever had the ball, we double team. Now, I want to add a player that's not in the NBA or the WNBA, but in college right now, just entered the transfer portal. She was originally at Rutgers, and she's now at Penn State. But Kiyomi McMillan, if you're not up on her and listening to B-Ball Radio, please search for her highlights. She's more than a problem. She's a triple problem,
bro.
Yo,
she is a problem.
Her handle is so bananas. And I adore her because she came up to my neighborhood for a training session last summer. And I couldn't believe, like, when she DM'd me on IG, I was like, is this a bot? Is this a AI? Like, I was like, yo, why is Kiyomi McMillan hitting me? Like, her handle is bananas. Like, what she need me for? And she was like, nah, I want to, link up with you, show me some of your moves or whatever. I was like, word. Yo, we spent an hour together. It was beautiful. And her work ethic, I told her to be there at 8 a.m. at the court. She showed up at 7:30. That gives you a little insight into the work ethic and the dedication that Kiyomi McMillan has. So props to her. CP, I know I know Roman pays a lot of attention to girls basketball because of his daughter, at Murray Bertram, and who's starting to get D1 looks and stuff. But how in tune are you with the women's game? I know Eric doesn't. I don't imagine anything outside of the Celtics is like, it's not in Eric's purview. But CP, how much do you pay attention to the women's game?
Not as much as I would like to be honest, man. I dedicate all my basketball energy to the New York Knicks and the NBA, and then once the off season hits, I'm still working with the NBA, right? Eric will tell you I'm doing summer league, and then after that, I gotta unplug from the matrix, man. I gotta go on my vacation, and by the time I get back from vacation, it's back to training camp. So I don't really. After that, I kind of tap out of sports and try to, get back to the family life, man. So not as actively as I should, but yeah.
I love the women's tournament. Last year I got back into college basketball in a really great way, starting to watch conference games in late January through the conference tournaments, and it was so enjoyable, both men's and women's. And then for the last few years, plugging into women's tournament games. Obviously, there were some major Final Four matchups a couple of years ago with UConn and Iowa playing, and the star power there. But working the WNBA into the summer viewing after we clear the NBA Finals is something I really like to do because the quality of basketball is so good. And, you know, we're a community. And I think that, you know, the support from the men's side goes a long way. And I love the game. So I love watching the game at all levels. And, you know, Bob, the Celtics don't play year round. So I gotta fill with some other programming. But I do need to do this because you know, CP and I are always going at each other for Celtics Knicks. And I'm so blessed experiences that I've had, people that I've met. Check this out, man. They had Red Auerbach bobblehead night, and last night, waiting outside my place, I got one said to me. So
nice.
You know, it's too bad you guys had the Phil Jackson era, but we know who the greatest coach of all time is.
Yo, CP, Eric got jokes, yo.
For days. That's cool. That's cool.
So
that's fire.
You know, Eric, you mentioned the WNBA. I also want to give props to Unrivaled because I feel like their model where the players are the actual owners of the league and there's profit sharing and everything. I think it pushed the envelope for the WNBA's new negotiations with the league in terms of a bump of the net profits and all that. And I'm really happy to see that. And, you know, I think we can continue to talk, but let's stop here. I want to thank CP, the franchise. I want to thank Roman Perez. Eric, phenomenal to be back on screen with you. This is B-Ball Radio. Shout out to all the staff. We have actually 0 staff right now. The staff is me and Eric. So. CP, we might have to borrow your illustrious board of executives, you know, to help us out with the productions, you know.
Bob,
anytime, man.
I didn't really say who was my Full 21 player, like NBA guy, but one of my kids.
I didn't ask you. I'm sorry.
One of my kids, he got a good one. Drew Holiday.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay.
Drew Holiday. Okay, cool. I'm with that. Why?
I think he's a long-down defender, and he's able to push the ball up court pretty fast and also pretty strong, so he can grab the rebounds. And I think he's able to finish through contact, so I think he's the choice for one of the thoughts.
For FC21 NBA, I'm going to go with Rod Strickland, yo, because he actually played 21 growing up, and I feel like even as a retired NBA player, he still get buckets. So that's my shout-out to Raw Bistro, a.k.a. Rod Strickland. Yo, B-Ball Radio, we out of here. Peace.
The essence of basketball. I don't know if you can be a basketball player without experience.
B-Ball Radio.